Here's Prescott. Just throws it deep as far as his arm can take him. He caught it! Micah Parsons on the move. Micah Parsons is in! Welcome to the big show, Tony Pollard. Oh, going deep. It is intercepted.
But I'm not going to say a word, but I will say one thing right now.
Prescott, touchdown. Good protection, and the pass wide open. Touchdown, Lamb.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. It's Space Cowboy here with another video for you guys here today. And we got to start having conversations about running back 2. Now that we've gone through training camp, now that we've gone through 2 preseason games, I think it's fair to start having a serious conversation about who's out there, who's performing well, who isn't performing well, what does the tape say, all that stuff we're going to get through in today's video. Now, before we get started, a couple things. First off, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. It helps support the channel. It helps fight against the YouTube algorithm, which is extremely important, so please make sure to do so. Thank you so much. Second, if you are not subscribed, I would highly recommend you do. Over 92% of you guys are not subscribed, so if you are one of those individuals, by all means, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get notified when new videos come out or when I go live. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about these running backs. So we know that Tony Pollard is running back 1. It's a clear indication he's the guy, and there are no controversies there. However, once you get past that, there were a ton of question marks, especially after the Cowboys let Ezekiel Elliott walk. Well, really, they released him, but my point still stands. He's no longer here, so the Cowboys had to figure out, okay, well, what can we do to really make sure we got the best in this room? So they go out, they go get Ronald Jones. We know how he's doing. He's hurt. He's suspended. So you kind of had to figure, all right, well, what do I got in Rico Dowdle? What do I got in Malik Davis? And you drafted Duece Vaughn, one of the star guys of the preseason. So we look at what Duece Vaughn has done because he's been the most talked about guy in preseason on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, whenever the guy touches the ball, he is electric. He's a small guy, but he has a ton of power to him because the way that this guy is built, it really feels like the 5'5" height that he has just doesn't negate him whatsoever, which is fantastic. The other thing, too, is that you need to see how this guy can be used in real game settings. And we got those answers, you know, being in single back formations, shotgun, you name it. He's able to do it all. And it doesn't seem like there's any complications of how he's running the football. You know, I do understand that in the most recent preseason game, he had the 1 touchdown run, and then it was just negative yardage and, you know, basic stuff. But again, he was running with 3s and some 2s. I'm not really, you know, concerned about that. However, one guy that I think isn't being talked up a whole lot, I know that he is, but in, you know, comparison between Duece Vaughn and him, Rico Dowdle. I've been high on Rico Dowdle for the longest time, and again, I've talked about him a ton of times on this channel. And I know it sounds like I'm a broken record. Listen, if you're subscribed, you know what I'm talking about. But Rico Dowdle has been a very interesting case for the Cowboys because he's shown off his ability to be in the receiving game. He's shown off his ability to be a blocker and run the ball hard. It's just his availability hasn't been there, right? You know, he's been hurt, and it's like, oh my God, like, when are we finally going to see what this guy can do? And, you know, you're kind of seeing that now. I really like what I see from Rico Dowdle. In fact, one of the big things that comes out of this conversation, I said it, and you can go back and look at the videos I did at the start of the offseason. I said, like, you know, between Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis, those two are pretty much one or the other, right? Malik Davis really made the team. Not that he isn't talented, it's because Rico Dowdle was hurt. And I think that if Rico Dowdle is healthy, he's a better running back than Malik Davis. And again, it's not like you have this dude long term. He's on a 1-year deal. After this, you can let him go. And I think you look at how this room is constructed. If you've watched Mike McCarthy-led offenses in Green Bay, which I'm not expecting those that are Cowboys fans and we hate the goddamn Packers, we're not going to watch them. But going back and watching film on how Mike McCarthy operated his offenses, he had a Swiss Army knife type of approach when it came to the running back position. You know, having one guy that can be the power back, one guy that can do things in the receiving game. Like, you have guys that do certain things, so you aren't like, you know, we don't have a guy that can do this and it's going to complicate things. No, none of that. And another interesting thing that I saw in the second preseason game, and I think a little bit in the first, was that you saw how the running backs are lining up, like behind the guard. And it's like really, you know, a new concept for the Cowboys, because you have that ability to have a quick screen or something out there. You have the ability to have, you know, pass protection, all that other stuff. But it really feels like the Cowboys are using running backs and the formations that we've been wanting them to do. Like, it's like finally coming together. And so, getting back to this running back conversation, like, we know that if you look at how the contracts are, assuming that Tony Pollard doesn't get a long-term deal and Rico Dowdle isn't re-signed, and even Malik Davis, you're really left with Duece Vaughn on a 4-year contract, assuming he makes the team. And I don't have a problem with that. I think with what the Cowboys are trying to do this year, they're just trying to, you know, go for an all-in push. But in the long-term scope of the position, the Cowboys are going to most likely need to draft someone next year. I'm not saying it has to be a first-round pick. Absolutely not. I just think that if Duece Vaughn is going to be... By the way, I do think Duece Vaughn can be a solid contributor in this league. I've seen people say that he's going to be the steal of the 2023 NFL draft. We'll see. I do have high hopes for him. But we got to remember, this is the preseason. Good and bad can be overly exaggerated. That doesn't mean like, hey, we can't take what we see and talk about it, like I'm doing here. But yeah. Now, as for Malik Davis, and, you know, people talk about Hunter Lipke as the fullback, but realistically, we need to talk about him. Malik Davis, I think he is still a solid back for you. But the problem is that, okay, well, who would you prefer, right? And you could tell me down below in the comment section, who do you think makes the team? You know, I think they carry 3 running backs plus Hunter Lipke, but if they do carry 4 running backs, that's intriguing, because I don't know how things are going to pan out on which position they go more at or less at, but I do think that they should go with, you know, Pollard, Dowdle, Vaughn. I think those are your 3 guys. Now, if you disagree with me and say, like, Space, no, Malik Davis deserves to make the roster, please tell me down below. You know, do you think Malik Davis is still worthy of making this team? Or has Rico Dowdle... Me personally, I think I've seen enough from Rico Dowdle and Duece Vaughn to crown those 2 as 2 and 3. Or 2A and 2B. You know, and a lot of people were like, okay, well, the workload for Pollard, you know, we haven't seen Pollard get a massive workload before. The thing is that I don't think you're going to need to give him a massive workload. It's the approach that Mike McCarthy has to his running backs that I think is going to help Tony Pollard out. And I don't think I would be upset with the Pollard extension if that's the next topic of conversation, which, and I'm just going to touch up on it briefly here. If Tony Pollard is given an extension, like a 3-year, $8 million a year extension, I'm not going to complain. But again, I think in the best, you know, long-term look, I think the Cowboys just, you know, you just go draft another dude and call it a day. But I don't think I have much more to say other than I think that running back 2 and 3 have been decided, or really 2A, 2B. It's going to be Dowdle and Vaughn getting interchangeable snaps. I really wanted to see actually Duece Vaughn, go at it with the 2s, but I don't think we're going to get that. But that's okay. I still think that we're good otherwise. But please, I think I've said enough. Tell me down below what you guys think about this running back room. How would your depth chart look at the running back position? Do you think the Cowboys still need to add another running back? I doubt that anyone's thinking that. But please, tell me down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.